Good morning, folks. How's it going this morning? Screen sharing going for you guys. Yeah. What's up, Navy Plum? How are you, my friend? All right. Let's see what these numbers are that just came out. So, personal income coming in slightly lower, personal spending slightly higher than the consensus and versus the previous readings. Core PCE at 0.2% in line. And then PCE price index 3.3, that was the consensus. And 0.2%, that was the year over year, month over month, 2%. So everything's pretty much in line. Jobless claims slightly lower than the consensus. So overall, I'd say that's fairly good data. The market seems to be responding well to it. I was talking to somebody I was mentoring last night actually, and they were asking about, are we going to drop really hard on this data tomorrow? And my take on it was I think that there's no certainty that the data is going to be bad, and I think that if it comes in line or better than expected, market's probably going to like it, as long as it's not a significant surprise. On the negative side of things, then I expected things to sort of be ready to start to push here. So we are up in supply here on ES. We have cleared over this 45.18 level, which is one of my key levels for ES. We broke over, back tested it a little bit. Now we're pushing higher up into supply. This is kind of our next key resistance, in my opinion. Also the level that we rejected really hard back in early August when we had that day where it was just kind of a total rug pull. So keep your eye on that one. If we can reclaim that as support, I think we go back to test 52-week highs and potentially try to test current all-time highs. So we shall see. This is a big area of, or I expect there to be a lot of struggle in this area, I should say. So we just have to keep an eye on things and see how it plays out as far as ES goes. All right, let me take a look just so I can pull up the charts. Have those ready to recap the plans that we did on Tuesday. Those were Amazon and SoFi. Amazon's in an interesting spot. I've kind of been surprised that Amazon has not really been getting the juice from this overall move that we've seen on SPY the last couple days. Amazon's been green, but not by a whole lot. And now we're getting ready to test this trend line that we identified on the live stream on Tuesday. So I'd say at this point we could even potentially look for a little bit of an earlier entry over 135.93. I think would be pretty good confirmation, at least to get up to our call entry level. Tighten that up a little bit. And even better would be some kind of breakover and back test, like maybe we tap off this 135.93, hit resistance, come back test, start to see a bounce off this trend line. That would also be kind of a really great entry opportunity there. But so far, no trade on Amazon as of yet. But yeah, overall, looks pretty good, especially over that 135.93. That starts to probably clear out a lot of bearishness, in my opinion. So Amazon's moving up. I'm guessing, interestingly enough, SPY's not really following it. So, although I think Amazon did just announce, Didn't they just announce a partnership with Shopify or something like that? Thought I saw somebody talking about that in the chat a little bit ago. So that could be what has Amazon pushing up this morning versus where SPY is sort of not really making too much of a move off that data that just came out. So that's Amazon. Let's check out SoFi real quick, see where that's at. And while I'm recapping these, guys, feel free to start posting any ticker requests that you have so we can start taking a look at some potential setups for going into today and possibly through next week, depending on how the end of this week plays out. So start hitting me with the tickers that you want me to do trade plans for. SoFi we did on Tuesday. Got our breakout over our call entry level here. Tighten these up. At 832. Tapped PT1 and then some, got very close to PT2 there at high a day yesterday. We've hit it and are trying to reclaim it as support. So make sure that you're up here at 879. So make sure that you are taking profits, moving your stops up. This one has broken out and just given us price targets ever since. So congrats if you followed the SoFi plan. I'm personally a SoFi shareholder, so I've just been waiting for us to test up in this 919 area, and then I'm going to start selling some covered calls against some of my shares, probably not all of them. So that is SoFi and Amazon trade plans that we did on Tuesday. You guys can hear me okay, right? I'm not seeing any ticker requests. Why so shy? Let's do some trade plans, or I'm just going to start picking random stuff. You may not like what I pick. Cup of Magic, Microsoft. Okay, take a look at that. JD, for sure. We'll take a look at that as well. All right, so Microsoft, I know I've got some levels on already. This could be a pretty quick and easy one. In fact, now we're looking at targets from a previous Microsoft trade plan that we did. Let's see, when did we do that? Maybe I deleted that old trade plan. It looks like we had an entry level here around 323.43 with a third price target up there at 329.41. So anyway, I guess maybe I deleted that drawing off this chart. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that old stuff out as well. So let's see where Microsoft's at currently. Just want to focus on these candles for a minute. Yeah, broke out of that downtrend and has made some pretty good moves ever since. I also mentioned a couple of times in the chat, I think somebody was asking about shorting Microsoft or something like that. I said, unless it gets below 319.12, I wouldn't be too interested in shorting it. And honestly, I'd be looking for a bounce there. That's kind of a key support level. You see lots of bounces coming off that. So mark that one on your charts if you don't already have it. All right, so question is, how do we want to handle Microsoft from here? That. All right, really kind of liking. There's definitely a imbalance here, fair value gap to fill. Really, it looks like if it can clear over this 329.41 level, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's check indicators real quick. Be a little bull trappy. Let's see. That looks okay. That looks good. And if it's just that one time frame that looks like it could be a struggle over, I think we'll get it with that entry. Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, so yeah, I like 329.41 to break over that. Play upside up to this 333.25 level, to be perfectly honest with you. Do have another multi-top around this 334.41, which was a fib extension. Yeah, few rejections there. Also seeing it acting as some support here recently. So that could be another tough level. I know they're kind of stacked right there beside each other, but kind of just is what it is. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, and then over that, I like this 336 level. Yeah. Stop loss, definitely we want to hold this support here at 327.63 that it held for the most part yesterday. Break it below that, starts to break things down. There is a confluence down here though. Kind of have two possible stop loss levels here actually. If you're gonna buy enough time and give this some room to play out, you could, let's just check the risk reward on it though, but I could also feasibly see 326.22 being another good stop loss to watch, stop loss average down level. Let's see how that plays out from a risk reward scenario though. It's a little better than 1-to-1, and honestly, there is potential I think for this first price target to really be at PT2, but I think that, you know, I want to encourage again smart profit taking early and often. Actually, this is a little bit low. That's a real. Yeah. There. So let's see. We're at 1.2, 1.6. Yeah. I mean, so somewhere we're probably in the we're better than 1-to-1. Long story short, on the risk reward getting to PT1. That's kind of a key factor for me as far as risk management goes and how I approach that. But yeah, so kind of take your pick. Either of these two levels, 327.63 or 326.22. Below 326.22, I would definitely not want to be holding calls any longer. I think honestly, downside probably starts shortly after that. Here at 325.08, so you could have a potential earlier entry, honestly below this 326.22, but I'd say give it a little bit more room to confirm. And then again, kind of have a similar scenario here where we've got an imbalance / fair value gap to the downside that gives us a decent move. So Microsoft's definitely going to be a good one to keep on watch, whichever direction it decides to go. Again, this is a pretty key support level here, 319.12. Great spot to look for bounces, so I would not want to be holding too many puts as we test that level, because the trade could start to move against you if you're holding puts at that point. Question is price target 3. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So kind of how this plays out here: break over, back test, push higher, break below, back test, rejects. I've also seen this kind of do similar stuff here recently across this time period. So yeah, I kind of like that as third price target to the downside. Stop loss for the downside trade plan. It's going to be a little bit of a tight one, but honestly, it looks to me like over 326.22 could continue to move higher. So, going to be a pretty high risk reward ratio, but that's a good thing in my opinion. So, we'll be looking at 3-to-1 really to the downside, just because we've got a tighter stop loss. And again, if you play this upside trade plan, play this upside trade plan with the tighter stop, your risk reward shifts quite a bit as well. So, keep that in mind. Yeah, you're at 2, ultimately about 4 risk to reward, 3.88 to the upside. But I could potentially, I debate this, so I'd say, what, let's plan it with the tight risk reward. I've talked this through, so just know that you could also use this stop loss from the put downside trade plan as well for your stop loss to the upside. So depending on how much room you want to give it, stop loss average downs. All right, so post this for you guys. Microsoft trade. All right, so what we're looking for here on Microsoft again is a break of 329.41 to try to play this to the upside. That would give us targets at 333.25, 334.41, and 336.36. Don't be shy about potentially, there could be some profit taking around 331.12. I'm just looking at this kind of really clean bounce off that level here, but again, ultimately this opened up a big imbalance. I think we wind up filling that back up to where that move started, up there at 333.25. Stop loss average down for the upside trade plan 327.63, or if you want to give it more room and you're going to buy plenty of time on your contracts, you could give it 326.22, give it some more room. Still lose everything in a decent setup risk reward wise. To the downside, I'd be looking for a break below 325.08. That would give me first target at 321.57. Then 319.12, scale out heavy there, and make sure you're moving your stops up, and then possibly as low as 316.24. Stop loss average down on that 326.22. So that is your Microsoft trade plan. Let's take a look at JD. JD is one that I'm probably going to have to chart. And where's Chris at this morning? He asked for something that was like just reported earnings. What was it? Sorry, I'm going back through Duo. We can maybe take a look at that as well. All right, so let's take a look at JD. Ooh. Big gap down. Lots of gap downs on this chart actually at the moment. Do actually have some levels on it. So, I'm guessing JD is Chinese, isn't it? Yeah. That's why we have all these gaps. Alright, that's okay. Let's take a look at this. It's been a while since I've looked at this one, I think, although there is something that looks like a trade plan here on the chart from some point in time. Let me just clean this up real quick, actually, so it doesn't throw me off. Any thoughts on coin? I can give you some thoughts on coin for sure. TurboTube. Happy to do that. All right. Oh, yeah, here was the trade plan. So I guess we did a trade plan on it April of last year. That's probably, or sorry, April of this year. Probably the last time I looked at JD. All right. So, you know what? This weekly level might have been nudged a little bit or just be off a little bit from where I drew it. Fix that. Yeah, it's okay to me. Yeah. Set that here. The weekly. Let me just check down this range. Fortunately, lots of price action on JD, so that's helpful. Here's another weekly level that just looks a little off to me. I know what I was thinking when I drew some of these. It's better. Lots of resistance. There's something here, but I don't know if it's a weekly level. So. All right, that looks. What is that going on? I'm up with a weird color there for a second. All right. So let's check this chart out. Let's get back to square one here. Yeah, again, these Chinese tickers love to gap up, gap down all over the place. So just be a little conscientious of that when it comes to swinging. Whoops. Just want to see what looked like a possible weekly level. I think it's probably a daily. This guy right here. Let's see. One thing I'm not really seeing it ever doing is really catching much in the way of support. I'm gonna assume it's a 4 level. Alright, so let me check out my indicators here. Well, there is a gap to fill. There's really two gaps to fill. Let me hide this to this. Nah, it didn't quite fill on that move there. So, really, there's a gap from here to here. Let's go ahead and flag these. We've got another one that's near what was an old gap level, it looks like. Actually, we could just nudge this guy right here. It starts at this weekly level, so I'm just going to overlap it. So we've got a couple of gaps there to fill. All right, so yeah, I think I'd be looking for, first off, a gap fill here at 33, 36. I think that fills this gap up to here. And the next price target I'd say is probably the next gap fill to the upside after that. There to 34.53. Just wonder how much of a struggle this 34.87 level is going to be. Looks like it is a pretty decent level. I know these are kind of boom, boom, boom price targets, but it just looks like 34.87 could be a tough level to break. If it does, though, I'd definitely be looking at 35.51. So let's kind of throw a potential fourth price target on this one, just so we're giving this plan room to work. And over that, I see potentially a move up to this next weekly level at 36.19. So anyway, those are some price targets. I don't think this hourly level becomes too much of a factor based on what I'm seeing. To the downside, that is the bigger question. Let's see. Yeah, I think we use these two weekly levels to our advantage. I want to see 32.66 lose support for a move down to 31.46, and then we can set a stop loss here at 32.98 probably. Let's see. Let me go back to this recent moves. Nah, really, it could be a little bit higher actually up here at 32.98. Okay. Oh gosh. And yeah, I would actually use that same stop loss going both directions, I think. Let's see, 32.98, 33. Yeah, I would. I'd use that going both ways. Alright, so question is, what happens below 31.46? We'll have to do a little bit of time traveling here to figure it out. There we go. interesting bounce off this 3088 level that I don't have mapped out. Also kind of looks like a potential double bottom there. So it could be that I just am missing a level here, at least on the hourly chart. I wouldn't ignore that personally. So yeah, 3089 next price target. Below that, here's another hourly level that it looks like I'm missing. Say 3030. Yeah, that makes sense. It looks like it makes sense at least. All right, so here's your JD trade plans. Actually, let me check these indicators real quick, make sure there's not anything I'm missing as far as, whoops. Again, some extra price targets there to the upside, but don't get too greedy. Take profits early and often. Let's tighten this up so they match. All right, so a little bit. There we go. Yep, that looks good. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I mean, we don't even start testing on the 4-hour this bearish resistance up here until PT3 there. At least we're into PT1. Yeah, potential confluence here on the 30-minute up at 33.71, so just be a little bit mindful of that. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of potential resistance in that area, so just be kind of conscientious of it. But this is, I think it's probably a pretty solid plan, the way we got it set up. All right, so JD trade plan. So for JD, what we're looking for here is a break over 33.34 with targets at 33.94, 34.53, and 34.87 with a stop loss average down at 32.98. To the downside, I'd be looking for a break at 32.25 with targets at 31.46, 30.89, and 30.30 with the same shared stop loss average down there at 32.98. Potentially has some downside momentum to it from the looks of it. Also with the way these SMAs are really pushing down hard and in a bearish trend. Yeah, things looking a little bearish on JD at the moment. So yeah, you're very welcome, Earth and Trade. Let's see how this one plays out for us. All right, that's Amazon. Coin was for TurboTube. All right, let's check that out. Oops, got that playbook. Probably have some levels on coin. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Seems like, yeah, we're tapping this supply zone up here overhead. Struggling to break through that. In fact, we are back in the same range of this old coin trade plan right here. Let's see. What have we taken out though as far as supply and demand goes? Yeah, that demand is invalidated. This demand held down here. Also bounced right on this 333 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. Somebody was asking yesterday. Oh gosh, who was it? Anyway, somebody was asking about what time frames I look at the 333 SMA on. The answer is all of them. I tend to see it active, especially when you've got a nice confluence. So we were very close to a daily support level here at 70.62, which was our third price target for this coin trade plan, and the 333 SMA. So I think the reason why we bounced a little tad higher than our actual third price target is because that 333 SMA was right there on the 4-hour chart, and overall coin's got a still holding an overall bullish momentum here. Bigger picture talking. And actually, man, this one played out fantastically. If you played this at stop loss average down opportunity, I mean, that was the shot straight down off that level over 1-2 days from 83.60, $13 move down almost to the downside on that previous coin trade plan that we did back on August. Maybe that was a weekend. Yeah, it was probably a member selected ticker trade plan that I did, posted on the watch list probably on a Sunday. So yeah, all price targets hit to the downside, and also got a really nice stop loss average down opportunity there. So yeah, if you added to your position on that and played it to the downside, you absolutely crushed it. And now here we are, right, finding resistance at what was our stop loss average down for the upside trade plan. And I kind of like it where it's at, to tell you the truth. I like recycling this trade plan overall, to be perfectly honest with you. So thanks for picking an easy one, Turbo 2. I know you didn't realize or think that you were going to do that, but we still have supply overhead. That gets cleared out, I should say. If we break over 88.96 again, as you can see, we've got heavy resistance here at 86.47 from the previous trade plan. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be back below that holding calls, because back below it, to me, looks like it opens up downside. Yeah, I'd handle this exactly the way we planned it before. This is an interesting level to keep on watch, although I don't think it's a major factor, especially with this fair value gap buy imbalance that came in here. I mean, that's, yeah, below this 80.38 level could definitely see at least a retest of the top of the first two price targets at the very least, to the downside if we get back below that. Yeah, I really like it as it played as it lies. Just a couple of levels here I want to maybe make note of, though, for myself, future planning purposes, since I'm looking at this chart. Cup of Magic NVIDIA. You must be a glutton for punishment. Sure, we'll try to take a look at NVIDIA. Oh, Apple, NVIDIA. Okay, let's see. I will do my best to get to all of these. No, that's fine. Right where it is. All right. There was one more level down here that looked interesting to me. Yeah, right here-ish. It's another one I want to just keep on watching in general. But here's the trade plans that I see, or really rehash of our prior trade plan here on coin, especially having data ready to go on this one. Also, we might have added, let's see. Oh, we got a nice doji. Yeah, there's probably another 4-hour supply zone. I'm sorry, demand zone. Right here, it looks like to me. That's where I would have it. So they're kind of stacked up right in there for sure. But let's get this guy out. Short position. All right. Coin trade. Retread. That's what I'm gonna call it. We're retreading this trade plan. All right, so in case you hadn't already caught on, this is again a rehash of an existing trade plan that we did earlier in the month. So we'd be looking for a break at 88.96. That should get us over supply ultimately and give us an opportunity to hit 92.26, 95.53, and 98.78 targets to the upside, with a stop loss average down at 86.47. To the downside, I'd be looking for a break at 80.38. With targets at 77.23, 74.43, and then potentially as low as 70.62. And I would be scaling out heavy at PT2 on this one, this go around. Again, 333 SMA, bounced there before, could wind up having a strong confluence there potentially in demand, key 4-hour level, 333 SMA on the 4-hour chart. So definitely keep that second price target in mind. I would say only, 1 or 2 free or green runners would I hold below that. Again, make sure that you're chasing the price action by moving your stops in your favor. That will also help make sure that you get all out for profit versus letting any of your contracts go red. All right, man, we're just hammering through them today. We've got 3 trade plans out and probably enough time to take a look at Apple for Terminator. Let's see. So this was our Apple trade plan that I did over the weekend. For those of you who have been following the member selected tickers, again, I post the Google form every Friday near market close for people to vote on tickers they want me to take a look at over the weekend. Apple was in the top 3 this past weekend. And so we got our break above, and then, really this, close to a nice back test here, launched us pretty much all the way to our 3rd price target. So plan worked out fantastically when the market got that big pump down, that JOLTS data that came out. We are pretty cleanly testing this 188.36 level, though, finding some resistance there. I know previously, as far as my personal perspective on things, this 182.06 level was a key level for Apple to reclaim. So over that, it really starts to look a lot more bullish to me, and Apple's finally showing some strength again. I don't know what these were for, but let's get rid of those. So I'm curious to see. Let's see, we're getting now back close to, I think, earnings on Apple. Oh gosh, why am I on 5-minute time frame? There we go. Better. All right. Yeah, I think this winds up being a pretty good entry level if we can break it, to be honest, for continuation. Over that, we do have fair value gap that takes us up to 190.72 by the looks of it. Missing a level here is my question to myself. I think I am, actually. Yep, and I'd use that as our 2nd price target as well. I know these are kind of stacked right there on top of each other when we're zoomed out like this, but there's a little bit of room between that 4-hour and daily levels. Over that, I'd be willing to take a shot at going as high as 193.88, I think. Stop loss, yeah, I'd keep it right here, where we're testing sort of PM low this morning. I like that little coincidence. So to the downside, I think I might, sorry, this is kind of distracting me a little bit, I think. So congrats for those that hit the upside of that Apple trade plan. I caught some of it personally, but not nearly as much as I could have after I don't think anybody expected that insane move off the JOLTS data, so everybody took profit early on Tuesday. That's okay. Don't want to encourage greedy trading, because that's when you hold for too long and people do silly things and get themselves into trouble. All right, so yeah, I think I'd give this some room before I'd be too interested in downside, and I think it's 185.02 needs to break to give us a move down, potentially to 183.22. Also gives us, I think, a pretty clear stop loss. Let's see back here. Yeah, I'd keep it right here at this 186.11 level. So additional downside targets below 183.22. Yeah, down here, 181.37. That might have been from our previous plan, one of the levels. I could see this 180.38 level potentially holding below that. So, this is what our trade plans look like for Apple. And then I think, because we've already done like 4 trade plans, although I will try to take a quick look. I think there's one more request for NVIDIA, I think it was. Yeah, couple Magic. I'll at least try to give you like a quick look at it. It's also probably ultimately in price discovery, so although I have had some very effective plans on it, even though I've had to use some fib extensions and things like that to get it done. I've had some good. I've called a couple of put trade plans on it, believe it or not, that worked out really well. I did not personally trade them just because I was not too interested in touching NVIDIA to the downside, but the plans worked out, so. All right, here's what we're looking at for Apple. So what I'd like to see here on Apple is a break over 188.36 with targets at 190.72, 192.36, and 193.88 with a stop loss average down at 187.22. To the downside, I'd want to see a break of 185.02 support for targets to hit at 183.22, 181.37, and then 180.38 with a stop loss average down at, I'm sure I'm catching the right level here, 186.11. So that would be your Apple trade plan. You're very welcome, Terminator. All right, NVIDIA, let's take a quick look at it, and then I'll go knock out the SPY plan for today. I think we crushed trade planning today on the live stream. Oh yeah, heavy price discovery. I mean, we are nearing all-time highs currently. I was going to, I guess at the very least, throw out some possible fib extensions on this. It's probably the best thing I can provide at this point. Again, I'd like to see, you know, some kind of consolidation or just more development of price levels up at this area. And again, I'm sure that there's some that have been established that I have not yet mapped out here, but looking at this overall move to the upside, I think it really takes us from here. I'm going to use a level that I don't even have yet. Probably brings us all, oops. It brings us back down to here or here. Right on that. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I kind of like it overlapping with this level right here, to be honest. So let's throw some idea levels out here. Yeah, nothing to say right home about. This is an old fib extension here. I would actually just adjust this up a little bit. Same thing here. This probably just needs to adjust down a little bit. Again, we're, kind of in a challenging spot when we're in heavy price discovery still. But overall, let's see, that's 4 hour overall bullish, 2 hour, and some struggle here. Hourly, maybe flipping back bullish, yeah. I mean, the best thing I can say about NVIDIA is if it can break over 503.42, maybe you take a stab at 515.97 and then see if it breaks out and goes up to 532.91. I would definitely keep my stop around this 491.46 level. Downside, I would just be super careful. At the very least, it would need to break below 476.35 to my eye. And below that, I mean, anywhere in this 465 down to 451 range, in this 451 key level. In fact, I mentioned this a couple times. We played puts off of it here, intraday, that had a nice move right off that rejection. I mentioned that on that Tuesday live stream, and then that same level here, you see we caught a very clean bounce off of it. So this 451.85 definitely is a level to keep on watch for NVIDIA for sure, either to take profits on puts or potentially buy the dip on it. So sorry it's not more of a formalized trade plan. I will at least share the chart, so hopefully refer back to that. And YouTube, we are live streaming this to YouTube, so I don't know how long it takes YouTube to have the recording ready for playback, but sometime today I would imagine you'd be able to play this back if you need to kind of recap what my thoughts were, even though I wasn't able to really tap it all out as a trade plan. So with that, we are getting pretty close to market open. I need to go knock out a SPY plan. So I wish you guys the best of luck trading today. I will certainly see you in the chats. We will be back next week, Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 a.m. So with that, we're going to call it a day. And in the absence of our good friend 007, I will use our wonderful soundboard item here that he set up for us.
Plan your trades and trade your plans.
That's right, folks. Plan your trades, trade your plans. Go out there, have a great day. We'll see you guys in the chat. Best of luck. Have a good day.